Well, hello again, everybody. It's time for a somewhat random video here. I didn't really want to vlog about anything. I didn't have much of a reason to. I've been trying to make the most out of today, which is day number 2 in my 5-day vacation. You can see on the TV here, I was watching some YouTube. I got so far behind on YouTube that it's taken me the bulk of my time off today and yesterday to really not get that caught up. But anyway, that's about all I could comment on if this was a real vlog. I may title this as a vlog, but I was thinking about something earlier today that I had on more than one occasion posted in forums that I'm a part of, and that was asking people what their dream job would be, or dream jobs, in case you have more than one. I do. I have a small handful of dream jobs that I would have loved to have been able to do or still do in my lifetime. But I qualify a dream job as something that you wouldn't be able to do. A dream job would be something that you would really love to, but that most people don't normally have the ability to do so. It's not like your career. Even if your dream job was something that you were able to do, my dream jobs are all things that wouldn't quite be possible. So anyway, let me just jump into the first one that came to mind today when I was thinking about it. The reason why this dream job wouldn't be possible for me is mainly for 2 reasons. One, I don't know that I have the talent to do it, but also at 39 years old, it's a little late in the game for me to be jumping into a professional sport. But one of my longest standing dream jobs I've ever had was to be a professional baseball player. I love baseball. I mean, you see me wearing the Cardinals cap. It's been my favorite team since I was like 9 or 10 years old. And baseball has been a sport that I really, really love. And it would have been something I would have loved to have played at any level at all. Had I not been so super scared back when I was a kid of getting hit by the ball, whether I was trying to catch a ball and it hits me in the face, or I'm batting and the pitcher hits me in the side or in the head. These are all very real possibilities in that line of work. It's just that most of the people who do that profession, they just get by. They either, some of them just don't worry about it. Some of them, I think, actually would love to get hit more often. And let me get my screensaver off again. They just deal with it. They're tough. They're gamers. They can handle it. I was just too scared of it when I was a kid. I only played in 2 Little League games, and I never did get hit by the ball in the catching scenario that I mentioned before, which I was always very worried about because, when you're not as good a player and you're not as active a player, they usually stick you in the outfield. And that's where I would usually play, like right field or left field. So I'd just be worried so sick that ball was going to get hit up to me. Everybody's going to be looking at me, all eyes on me, and I was just afraid I would screw it up and then get hit in the face. And after getting hit once in the nose when I was a little kid with a big rock, and as much pain and hassle as that was, that's not something I would ever want to have to deal with again. So anyway, I did end up getting hit while I was a batter. It wasn't horrible, but I remember making it out like it was the end of the world, and I just basically begged off playing Little League anymore. Told my dad that I just didn't want to do it. Sad, because by the time I was in high school, I was a guy who sat behind the little trailer that my dad and I lived at in East Missoula, Montana, and hit rocks with a wooden bat until it sawed it into 2 pieces, and then I just kept hitting rocks with that smaller piece. When I got into college, 2 years of college, the University of Montana, they had a softball class, and I took that not once but twice. College allowed me to take it twice in the 2 years that I went to college, and I played softball. I even kept track in a little like folder. I don't know if I still have that, but I didn't statistically follow it to the letter, but I had a batting average, and I kept track of singles and doubles and triples and home runs and RBIs and stuff like that. I was a stat nut there for a while. When I really got into watching baseball, collecting baseball cards, got my first taste of ESPN coverage of baseball, I was a stat nut, and all those kinds of numbers, still to this day, they mean a lot to me. I always check the newspaper for things like, of course, the win-loss record of my favorite teams, but also the stats, the batting averages and homers and RBIs, wins and losses, ERAs, strikeouts, just stuff like that. So I did the softball thing. I played a few like loose softball leagues, like co-ed, bottom-level softball leagues for a few years while I lived in Montana. I never really did anything other than I think like maybe a game or two of softball here in Missouri, but that's kind of fallen to the wayside. I still love baseball, and I still kind of wish I would have stuck with it when I was younger to discover whether or not I would have had any talent for it. But, what can you do? That's why it's a dream job. So we'll move on to the next one, which is a dream job much like baseball, I did a little league. Well, when it comes to the next one, which is musician, that one was probably one I would have had a lot more of a chance with had I stuck with it also. Because when I was a kid, my dad had me take piano lessons and saxophone lessons. It was 2 or 3 years of piano, less than a year of saxophone, and then I had a little bit of experience with the drums, which my dad was a drummer for many years, and then even a less amount of time with the guitar, which is actually in the end I think the one I would have loved to have learned how to play. Not bass guitar. I would have much rather preferred to either play lead guitar or rhythm guitar, acoustic or electric. I didn't really care, but just to play regular guitar. I always kind of had a few idols when it came to guitar work, or at least the sound. I would have loved to have been able to play guitar much like you hear from a guy like Chet Atkins, and like the type of guitar you hear with Chris Isaak. I hate to say it, as much as I love Chris Isaak, I'm not for sure if he's the lead guitarist in his group or if it's somebody else that plays it the way that his music sounds. Has that kind of twangy, plucky, it's like 50s. It's kind of like rockabilly. It's kind of, I don't know. Just listen to Chris Isaak and you'll kind of get a good idea of what I'm talking about. That was guitar I really loved. And of course, just to rock out would be awesome. To sound like something like Foo Fighters or U2. Just to play guitar on my own would be great, but I would have loved to have been in a band. I would have loved to have had that kind of a lifestyle. Once again, that's another thing that at 39, it's not too late. Music is not something that's too late when you get older. But it's not going to happen because I just don't have the dedication or the passion for it. It was just something I would have loved to have done. And that brings me to what I always consider to be like the third and final dream job, but I'm adding a fourth one after this. But my third and final original dream job, the one thing I've probably wanted to do more than any of these others, looking in hindsight and looking to the future, but that's voice acting. I don't know what my voice really sounds like in these videos. I just think I have kind of a typical sounding voice. It's a voice that, to me, inside, I feel it coming out from here, and I feel it that like it's sort of a deep voice. Sometimes when I hear it in videos or say like on a answering machine, I think it has kind of a weird kind of middle of the road sound to it, not as deep as it feels like it comes out of me as, but it's not my standard voice that comes out of me that I think about. It's that I do a lot of impersonations, I do a lot of goofy voices. I think there are times when I do some good accents, when I do some good like age variation. I think I do okay, not perfect, but somewhat okay, like feminine sounding voices. I just think that my voice is somewhat versatile, and I think maybe this is over complimenting myself or something like that, but I recently kind of thought of myself as the Bumblebee type guy. Like if you're familiar with Transformers cartoon or the recent Transformers trilogy, Bumblebee had a lot of sound bites, movie quotes, lines from shows, songs, commercials, and whatnot, and it just comes from all different directions. I think that I'm a bit that way, and it's funny how that part is probably going to tie into the fourth, like the bonus dream job I'm going to mention. But I've always thought I had a really good knack for some of that kind of stuff. And as recently as just a couple of years ago, I was looking into what it would take to maybe do something about this. The problem was two problems raised their ugly heads. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy. It's really, really sad that all of a sudden I cannot remember this. So I'm going to cheat real quick, and I'm going to look this up really fast, because I can't believe I can't remember the name of this guy. No, that's not going to do it at all. Let's do it like this. Hang on for a moment while I figure this out, because there's somebody who I look up to in this particular genre of voice acting and whatnot. Oh, I was looking up his last name as his first name. It's Phil LaMarr from Mad TV, but he's also done a million other things. I'm looking at his Wikipedia page right here. He has done voice acting in animated series such as Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, Futurama, Samurai Jack, Static Shock, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and video games Metal Gear Solid 2 and 4, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, Jak and Daxter series, Darksiders, Final Fantasy 12, Infamous, Dead Island, and the Mercenaries series. Yeah, that's right. He played the character from Mercenaries that I usually play as. I'm looking at this right now for some silly reason. I'm diverting from my video here. Chris Jacobs. Anyway, if anybody watched my Mercenaries Favorite Games installment, that's the character that I usually played, and that was Chris Jacobs, voiced by Phil LaMarr. Anyway, that was a little off the track there, but Phil LaMarr is, as you can see, very well versed in all that, both literal live acting, animated shows, video games, and those are the things I've always wanted to do. Like in voice acting, those would be the big ones, would be animation, whether it's anime or American animation. Video games, would love to do that. With my love for video games, I would love to voice something in a video game. Commercials, just about anything that basically requires the voice and not the face. I don't have the face. But anyway, I looked into some stuff that he had posted, some things specifically that came from him, suggestions and advice for people who were interested in getting into the career. And one of the first things that I read was, he said, I'm paraphrasing, of course, very, 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 very much so. I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember a direct quote, but the essence of what he said was, just because you do some voices, just because you do some impersonations, doesn't necessarily mean that you have exactly what it takes to do voice acting. Well, that was kind of like balloon, pop, air deflated all over the place. But he's right. I understand that he is absolutely right. You have to be able to act. You have to be able to improvise. you have to be able to do a whole lot more than just make voices, do silly voices and whatnot. Just because you have the ability to do the voices doesn't mean that you have the ability to pursue that kind of a career. It's kind of like just because you can, well, this is a weird one, but just because you can sing doesn't necessarily mean that you can be a musician. You may not sing good enough. You may not be able to write to save your life. It doesn't mean that you're going to have a successful career in the music world just because you can sing. So, anyway, and the other thing that kind of kills it for the voice acting thing is I'm a 39-year-old single father who lives in the middle of the country. Most of the time you want to succeed in any kind of acting career, you really need to be on the West Coast, like Hollywood and LA and that kind of area, or New York-ish, some place in one of the big cities where that kind of stuff is, where it thrives. And I'm just not there, and I can't afford to move. I'm a little too old and a little too far into the responsibilities of life to pack up everything or throw a backpack on my back and get on the bus and be lost on the streets of LA. Anyway, and that kind of spins me into the fourth and final dream job, and it has to do with this stuff you see right here on this TV. This whole YouTube thing. I make videos, but I'm not, I currently have 25 subscribers, which, by the way, thanks to the more recent subscribers here, because I was kind of at 22 for the longest time. 3 people in the last few days subscribed. I appreciate all the subscribers that I have and everybody who watches my videos. But thanks for those of you who've stumbled upon me here recently as well. But I would really love to be able to do what the Let's Players do, which is play video games, do commentary, and be silly and have fun. Now, as a dream job goes, especially compared to the other dream jobs I mentioned, this is probably the one that you make the least amount of money on unless you have millions and millions and millions of subscribers. But right now, at this point in my life, it would absolutely be probably the most fun I could do next to the voice acting. And only because, sort of like Markiplier, it parlays that talent into something else altogether. So, that's probably not something you're ever going to see with me. I don't know that I have ever made this statement. I wanted to in my original video, but I don't think that I did. But you're never going to see Let's Play stuff on this channel. And the reason for that is because I don't have the equipment, the software, the know-how to do any of that. I've been tempted here recently to do Twitch, like to stream some of the older and more unusual PC games that I have. The only thing that's held me back on that is I only have the one monitor. And I think it would probably help to have the second monitor enabled in order to see what's going on and see if there's anybody commenting while the other monitor is for the game. Because I like my games to be full screen. I don't like to have to put up a little window over here of the game and then have the other stuff over here. But that's not going to hold me back, though. If I downloaded what's called OBS, Open Broadcast software. I just haven't done anything with it beyond that. But at some point, I feel like I'll probably have to give it a try. And I'd stream stuff like the X-Files game for the PC, maybe Riven, maybe Sanitarium. I'd love to do like the Phantasmagoria games, but because they have some nudity and stuff involved, I don't think that would fly very well. So it's a bummer. Maybe some Gmod stuff, if I ever was able to get a group of people I could play it with. Or if anything else, just be a part of maybe someone else's Twitch of them doing that. But it's just something on the horizon, and it might help to, scratch that itch to do something that's YouTube Let's Play related. So anyway, that's my dream jobs, and I might do some more videos like this. We did on some of the forums I've been a part of. We've done things like what's your dream job, what's your dream house. I don't even know. You could probably come up with all kinds of good dream something ideas, like what's your dream video game. So I might do some more videos like this in the future. Anyway, thanks a lot for checking this out. Share what your favorite dream jobs over the years have been for you. Something that maybe if you're younger, something that you would like to still pursue. But like I said, just think of something that maybe seems a little further out. Maybe you want to do something science-wise, but at the same time, you'd also love to be the president. Just think along those lines and share them in the comments below. So thanks again once more for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next videos.